As a landlord, there's nothing more frustrating than a tenant who just stops paying rent, right? It's not just about the money. It's about the fairness and your rights as a property owner. But eviction in South Africa isn't as simple as changing the locks. Stick around because today I'm breaking down the exact legal steps you need to follow to evict a non-paying tenant without breaking the law. First, let's get familiar with the laws that protect both landlords and tenants in South Africa. So this includes one, the Rental Housing Act 50 of 1999. So this governs the landlord-tenant relationship and outlines their rights and obligations. Two, prevention of illegal eviction and unlawful occupation of land, PIE 19 of 1998. So this law ensures that landlord cannot evict tenants unlawfully. Number three is the Consumer Protection Act 68 of 2008. This provides guidelines on fair notice and other aspects of lease agreements. So these laws ensures fairness, but they also mean you need to follow a specific process for the eviction. So let's dive down to the steps, right? So the first step is review the lease agreement, right? So first, check your lease agreement. Does it clearly outlines the terms of rent payment, the consequences of non-payment? This document will form the backbone of your case. So make sure it's clear and, most importantly, enforceable, right? And the second step is serve a notice of default, right? So if the tenant hasn't paid rent, you are required to serve them with a notice of default. So this notice should outline the outstanding rent, right? Give the tenant a reasonable time frame. It's usually, let's say, around 20 business days to pay up as per Consumer Protection Act. Number three, cancel the lease agreement, right? So if the tenant still doesn't pay after the notice period, you can cancel the lease, right? This means giving the tenant 1 month notice to vacate the property. Remember, this is important legal step before approaching the court. Number four, file an application at the court. Now, if the tenant refuses to leave, it is time to involve the courts. File an application for an eviction order. If unopposed, cases can take around, let's say, 4 to 6 months. So acting quickly is very crucial. Number five, attend the court hearing. So if the tenant opposes the eviction, things can get even more complicated. Both parties will need to submit affidavits. Legal representative will argue the matter on the date set by the court. Number six, obtain the eviction order. If the court rules in your favor, you will receive an eviction order. This specifies the exact date by which the tenant must leave the property, right? And number seven, which is the last but not the least step, right? So if the tenant still refuses to vacate the property, you can call on a sheriff of the court. The sheriff will enforce the eviction order in line with the court's instruction. But there's key points here for landlords, right? So before you rush into the eviction proceedings, here are some important tips. Stick to the legal process, right? Following the law prevents delays and protects you from countersuits, right? So consider the legal advice. You cannot just do the eviction process by yourself. And I've had so many stories where landlords take matters in their own hands. I don't want to explain some of those stories because you don't want to know, right? But a qualified attorney can help you navigate the process smoothly. So the other most important thing is you need to be aware of potential costs, right? So eviction can be time consuming and very expensive, so you need to plan accordingly. On a final thought, evictions are never easy, but knowing the process makes it manageable and, most importantly, legal. Legal. Let me underline it again. Legal. Right? Or do I do it again? Legal. Have you ever dealt with a non-paying tenant? Share your experience in the comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you never miss a video about real estate and property management tips or personal finance. And as always, right, it is the big elephant in the Ndou Khulu Ya Manenzhe. I will see you on the next one. Cheers.